Hello and welcome to the latest Craft Mania Sunday Showcase. Today I have an amazing offer for you. You're actually going to be able to purchase over £60 worth of products for only £10. What we're going to be looking at is topper sheets or decoupage sheets. To be honest, the price of these, there's so many things you can do with them, whether you wish to layer them, glitter them, use them as Christmas ornaments, decorations, home decor, the options are endless. Obviously, at this bargain price, it means they're only 5p a sheet because you're going to be getting 200 of them for only £10. So 5p, really, there's a lot you can do with them for that price. So we're going to have a little flick through them so you can see the different designs. I'm going to be showing you over 60 designs. So obviously, as I say, you're getting 200 of these. So you're going to get a few multiples, which is quite good because in a lot of cases you might really like a design or like what you've done with it. And then that way you've got a few spares that you can do it again, obviously. Now, these are discontinued, and when they are gone, they are gone. We have bought as many as we can possibly get our hands on and fit into our stock room. But, very strict warning here, when they're gone, they're gone. There's no way we can return these. They're not going to come back in stock at any point. When they're gone, they're gone. As you can see, you're getting a really good cross-section of different themes and styles, and designers obviously as well. So there's really different topics, and it's a good set for you to be thinking of all year. Like that one's great for Valentine's, the one before was Father's Day. You'll also see quite a lot of Christmas mixed in here. Really general things like flowers and butterflies as well. There's even some like this for Mother's Day. Some get well soon ones as we go through them as well. I love this one. I love how they've done all the shading on this. It's a really beautiful one. I'm actually going to be able to show you over 20 examples I've made with this set. I've got quite carried away today and really been working on this to the last minute just to show you some of the great things you can be doing with this set. This is one of my favourites. It doesn't look much in its sheet, but when you see it built, you'll be really impressed with it, I hope. Another one coming up here, good for teenagers. This is a really lovely, delicate one as well. And this one I was a little bit more sort of bemused by, shall we say, but I hope you'll like the card I've created with it. It's a bit different. Now obviously not only are these good for your cards, if you're going to be doing cards with your children or grandchildren this Christmas, at this price they really can't go wrong. If you want to do a card for every member of the class, it's not going to cost you the earth at 5p a sheet. There's so many Christmas ones in here that it'd be good for doing that as well. There's just so much. Or if you're doing for charity, obviously. And of course, let's not forget the people who do them to sell. So many times we do our decoupage sheets at 89p, and that's cheap. By the time you've put one of them on your card, you've obviously got to sell it for quite a lot to make a profit. Where with these at only 5p a sheet, the profit you can make on each card is obviously quite considerable in comparison. So it's a good little way to look at it like that. Also, if you want to, you can use more than one sheet per card, and it's not costing you the earth. On one of my cards today, you'll see I've used 2 of the designs, and that way, it's instead of costing me sort of £1.90 or £1.80, it's cost me 10p. So good little saving to be had like that as well. You'll also notice that some of the designs you're going to be getting them in large and small, like the one I'm showing you here, which is quite nice as well. Another car version. We're forever asked for men's things. So the chest one and the car, that's quite good for them. The mushrooms are slightly different. I'm not going to lie, I'm not too sure if I'm a big fan of the mushrooms. But if you're doing fairies and bits, you might quite like them. And then we end on one of my favourites with this really lovely Victorian scene. So that was just a quick brush through of all 60. As I say, you are actually getting 200 sheets in your pack for only £10. It's actually worth over £68 in total. So it really is an incredible saving. I'd like to imagine, or I'd like to think it's probably the biggest saving we've yet given you on one of these Sunday showcases. So this really is a good time to jump in and get one. Obviously, you don't have to use them as they are here either. If you do want to add other products to them that we've been showing you on recent Sunday showcases, like the pixie powders and the metallic polishes and glitters, things like that, these are just ripe for that. There's so many ways you can add to them as well. And I'm going to show you some of that through some of my samples, but I really didn't have as much time to do as many as I would have liked to. With over 60 designs, I would have loved to have been able to show you all of them. But 20 is not too bad, so hopefully you'll like some of these. We're going to start off with this one, and I want to talk to you about the dies on here before we go too far. You're going to see this corner set used an awful lot in today's projects. That's this set of dies here. It's only £5.99, and you get a large corner and a small corner. So that makes them sort of £3 each, doesn't it? So that's really, really cheap for a corner. I'm going to show you another one a little later on, which is £9 just for one. So price-wise, really good offer on them. And you'll see them used in lots of different ways throughout my cards. You'll also see my favourite butterflies. Anyone who watches these will know by now that I use these most weeks. And love this little set. They're only £14.49. You get 3 different butterflies in here. And they're really nicely detailed, so they're going to appear quite a lot as well. Also on this card is a brand new embossing folder. Now this is so new, I'm not even allowed to sell it to you until the 1st of November. So you've got a few days who are allowed to collect this one. It's literally come into the country today. It is exclusive, so we can't actually sell it or even really show it to you, so I'm being a bit naughty, but you can pre-order it if you want to. It will be available on the website, and of course, as always, anything you see today, if you want to collect it in store, you can do that in the comments too. But it's beautiful. And I've used it on some of my everyday cards and some of my Christmas cards. So you'll get to see it in lots of different ways throughout the samples. But on this one, I've just done it in pearl card in the back here. So to begin with, we've got the pearl embossed panel. We then have them butterflies. The corners used on the edge of the oval. And then, of course, our cutting sheet has been layered down on the side here. Now, with a lot of these sheets, you'll notice they give you these big blocks with a one on it already. And then you can layer it up on top of that. I don't always like the solid backgrounds, so a lot of mine have actually left them off and just built up from layer 1 as such and used that on my card. If you want to use these then for something else, of course you can. You don't have to dispose of them. They're great to make up a topper or a different card project or a matching box maybe. But if you want to, you can of course layer them on top and it will fit perfectly. On these sheets as well, you'll notice you get a lot of these little pieces, just little sentiments and corners and bits like that. I don't tend to use them, but they do design and fit in really well if you want to. So don't think they're wasted. Everything can be used. As we move on to our next one, I've got my first Christmas one, and we've got our little teddy bears running around a Christmas tree. Really like that image, thought that was really cute. I haven't glittered this one. I wish I had have had time to. I've sort of been a bit short of time just because I wanted to get so many bits done. But of course you can glitter on top of these if you've got like a quickie glue pen or one of our glue pens, come to think of it, even cheaper to use. And you could really add some nice little dimension to that with some of that too. So nice little design. That's this one here. On the front we've got a poinsettia die. We've also got our fern die. This is one of my favourites, so it's been voted our most ugliest die, but I think it's lovely and use it all the time. I think it's great for these little sort of foliage bits. That was only £13.49. Moving on to our next one, and you're going to see that corner again. This is actually the large corner I've put into the bottom of the oval here and at the top, just to show you that although it is a corner, you don't have to use it as a corner. You can just use it as a border piece, and it sort of squares off my oval so it matches the square panel in the background for my decoupage. That of course is our lovely wedding teddies, or bunnies I should call them. Again, lots on that sheet for you to use and loads of layers. Sometimes you might even want to save a few pennies, literally pennies at this price, but be a bit more frugal and you could actually make 2 or 3 cards out of these sheets. You don't have to build every layer up quite that high, so you might want to save a bit that way too. We've then got the smaller corner die used in the corners here, so you can see that one actually cut out as well. That really is a lovely set to get. Moving on, we have a Christmas one. This time we've gone for them bauble ones that I showed you. I said I like this one. I think that layers really nicely. Again, if you've got some sort of snow text or some Christmas texture paste, you could of course put that over the bottom of it to make the snow look even more real as well, instead of glitter if you wanted to. But just a really nice design, that one. Really simple and quick to do as well. I often say this, we all have cards for people that we have to send a card to but don't always really want to put too much effort into it. Neighbours, dentists, people like that we're not too keen on but have to send them. Again, really good for that. Great effect, looks like we've put in a lot of effort but really we haven't. We like them sort of cards, don't we? Going to the front here we have our lovely Valentine's one. Of course that's just around the corner. Once we've got rid of the Christmas and Halloweeny bit, that'll be here. So we've got our lovely teddies under our umbrella with all their little hearts and bits. You'll also see in the background here, that's the edge of that embossing folder. I know you can only see the little bits of it on the sides, but I quite liked using it as sort of like a ribbon slidery effect underneath my die cut ovals and underneath my layered image. Really simple and quick to do that one too, but just quite a crisp look hopefully. This one is of course our Sea Life one. Now you may be seeing a bit of a sheen to this, so this was just a really quick one that I wanted to show you. I've gone over the top of this with our metallic polish. Now I know we've gone on and on about this. This is actually one of my favourite products and we've been using this an awful lot in our videos. This is the Pearl Luster one. You can see it's been used and abused quite a bit. I do really love this, so it's come out quite a lot. We actually have all of the colours back in stock of this. I think we're up to something like 22 of them now. But we've just had a delivery on Friday and we're fully stocked on every colour. So again, they're all available online or of course in both stores. But this is the Pearl Luster and it goes really well over the top of your sheets. Just be careful to not put too much on. If you do apply too much, you will just phase out the picture and you won't see it. So you want the last dregs as such on your applicator, as little as possible. You can always add more, you can't take it away. So just little bits and cover it as much as you want to, but be careful not to bleed out the picture. But it just gives you that really nice pearly sheen. I've done that over the backing and then I've actually just cut my fish out and layered them on top without the pearl sheen. Just there's a bit of a contrast between the two. But it's a really nice way to give more depth and dimension to our pictures. Moving on to my next one. Now this one's an interesting one. I wanted to use both of these pictures on one card, but I didn't like the fact that the skies were two different colours. So although I wanted to use the whole mat for it, I've just cut round the tops of them and cut that out and replaced it with a 12 by 12 paper. Same one as what's on the inside. These are our papers at a 49p a sheet, so they're not expensive and it's quite a nice way to do it. I also didn't like the fact that this tree didn't have the snow cap tops on the same as that one. So I just painted it in with some white acrylic and added glitter to all of it to try and match it in a bit more. But I wanted the theme to sort of continue between them. The Happy Christmas in the middle has been cut out of glitter funky foam. And the die for that one is this one and it's only £5.99. So again, quite a big die for your money on that one. Moving on, we have another one. We're back to Valentine's again, but this time sort of Valentine's for the man in your life. And we have a lovely sort of dragon wrapped around our aperture here. Just a really easy one to make on a large aperture. And in the middle I've suspended this little die cut circle and scallop circle set. Obviously that's the sheet that I've used for this one. Again, lots of little hearts and I love yous and bits on this one too if you wanted to add them in. This is the corner I was on about earlier. This one's a £5.99 one and quite a nice design as well. And it even has these sort of little hidden hearts in it, so it's sort of Valentine's-y, but hopefully not too OTT for the card. Especially for men's cards, we have to be a bit more careful, don't we? So another easy one to do. This one I just love the bow, so I had to do this sheet. I've been really sort of struggling to know which ones to pick to show you cut, but I love the bow on this one and wanted to show you how when you cut it, it just looks really lovely layered because it's got so many bits to it, they just sort of really fit together well. It's also worth mentioning that for pretty much all of my samples I've used silicone, but of course you can use foam pads if you wish to. But silicone just helps you with that sort of shaped effect if you do wish to use that. If you're unsure what I'm on about regarding silicone and foam pads, next time we're in store, don't hesitate to talk to any member of staff and we can chat you through how they both work. If you're online and you don't live locally, then of course just drop us a comment or a message and we'll do our best to make sense and answer that one. But silicone really is just a thicker product, like a paste as such, that we can pump in between our layers and it gives us more room to form it, where the foam pads tend to be quite blocky and obviously you don't tend to get as many levels and you can't shape stuff quite as well, so hence why I've used silicone for mine. In the background here you can see that really lovely embossing folder again. I've just done it on white card and then I've actually braided over the top of it with some red ink just to pick up the detail in it. I really loved that. I'm quite impressed with this one. I think you're going to get to see as much of this one as you do my butterfly and poinsettia dies. So be warned, you're going to get bombarded with that in the next few weeks. As we move on to this side of my cards, we have a nice little square one, and I wanted to show you this time the reindeer sort of flying through the air. So on the inside of my card I've just put night sky paper, and then at the front here I've put a little die cut standing up of a little village scene. The scene is actually quite a bit bigger than that and does actually come with its own sleigh and reindeer set. It's only £8.99 and you could of course layer more houses and bits if you wanted to create more depth, but I thought one was quite sufficient. This would also be quite nice if you've got any of them little electrical tea lights you could pop in just to light up the windows of the houses if you wanted to, but it just gives that a sort of a background to my flying reindeer. Moving on to my next one. This was a flower that I really wasn't too sure about. I know I liked it, but I weren't too sure what I was going to do with it. And then I remembered our wonderful pixie powders. Again, a bit like the metallic gilding polish, these are all back in stock. So the video you see a couple of weeks ago for our Sunday showcase, all of those colours are now back in stock. And we also have 5 brand new colours that we haven't even told you about yet. We have Aubergine Dream, Teal Wash, Bronze Blush, Firework Burst and Ancient Copper. These are now in stock in both stores and available on the website. So if you do want to add to your collection, or if you haven't yet seen these, watch the video. You will love them. We have an introduction to pixie powders and we'll show you how you can use them for stencils, paint with them, make backgrounds with them, use them on acetate. There's loads you can do with them, and a really good video to watch just for some hints and tips if you haven't seen it yet. But on the actual card, I've just used them as they're meant to be used. You'll see how that works on the video, just to create my 2 backing pieces. And then my flower, I've actually used the metallic gilding polish over the top. That's that same pearl luster one, just to give it a bit of a sheen to match in with my pixie powders. So a really good combo there of both of them too, if you have got them over the previous week's videos. Moving on, we have a little box frame. Now this time we have our teddies in a window display. That's this sheet here, obviously. Again, just made up a little box, added a couple of dies to it. Real quick and simple card to do. But don't they just come alive when we do this? They just, I know it's silly, but they look so flat and uninteresting when they're in the sheet form. And the minute you build them, they actually sort of come to life, don't they? It's quite cute, really. Moving on, we have the most delicate sheet I've attempted to do. This is our wedding cake one with our little teddies on. Although it's delicate, I really loved how it turned out. There's so much going on here and so many layers and so many details. And there was even quite a few bits I left off, to be honest. I got to the point where I thought it looked enough, so I left it there. But of course you can add them, or you could save them for another project if you wish to. In the background here, you can also see that large corner die. Now I quite like doing this. It's not something we've chatted about before, but I quite like if you cut out of the same colour as the card you're going to lay it on. It sort of looks as if it's been embossed with an embossing folder, but it just gives you a bit of interest without stealing the show of the main image. So that's all I've done, is just 4 of them in the corners and then added some flowers and some ribbons. Moving on, we have the image that we ended with when I show you through all the 60 plus designs. That's our lovely little Victorian scene. Again, we have the butterflies out of that first set I show you. And at the tops here are the corners. So we have the little corners on the sides and the big corner coming out the top, just again to show you a different use for the corners. They look more like edgeable dies, don't they? But it's just that same old $5.99 corner, just giving you another use for them again. Onto this one, same corners again, cut out and layered, really lovely, aren't they? And then we have our lovely little cat in a bag. That's our first cat in a bag. I will show you another cat in a bag in a minute. You may think you're going crazy, but I promise you you're not. This one has our daisies on it. The next one will have lots of hearts on it, so there is a difference, but they're both really, really cute. So I hope you like them ones. And then over here we have our Christmas candles. Now these ones are designed to look like stained glass windows, so I sort of wanted to show you a couple of different uses of that. This one I've just gone over the top of it and added glitter to it. So just with a glue pen and added gold glitter around it, because it's got quite wide lines, it's really easy to colour over the top with some glitter and give you that added dimension. On this one I wanted to do the same, but I also wanted to show you that you could use it as a template. So I've taken a piece of acetate, I've done it with the glitter over the top of it, I've then framed my acetate into my aperture card and then put the image behind it, just as a bit of a different idea really. And then obviously when it stands there, you've got the colours coming through from the picture behind. I did the same with our partridge in a pear tree, same design, but this time I've also glittered the one on the inside as well, just to show you could really go OTT with the glitter if you want to. But of course you don't have to. But with 4 designs on a sheet with these, it's a really good way to get even more out of your money. And if you don't like cutting out, another way of showing you that you don't have to cut these out if you don't want to. You can just use them as sort of rectangles or shapes. On to our butterflies. So there's a couple of different ones here. We have our blue ones and our yellow ones. I've just done one of the blue ones to show you how easy it is to layer. But I also wanted to point out to you that you don't have to use the butterflies on there. Because if you're getting these sheets so cheap, why not just cut the butterflies out and just decorate any cards, boxes or decorations with them and use them like that? You're going to get 4 out of a sheet every sheet of these you get. So why not just use them like that? Or if you wish to, you can layer them to give you a bit more depth, or of course you could layer them and still use them as a single. You don't have to use them on the leaves and the flowers if you don't want to. Another thing I wanted to show you was that you don't have to make just cards with these. Of course, these are safe for using in scrapbooking as well. If you're making Christmas decorations, there's a lot you could do with them for that as well. Obviously, the Christmassy designs. Or you could, of course, make your own gift tags. So I've just added a bit of ribbon, sandwiched it between 2 layers, left the back open so I could write my message on it, and added my die cut to the front of it. So really nice, easy way to use these. And of course, I know you've got to cut them out, but it isn't too hard to do. And they really do look quite lovely. So that's that one. You'll also have noticed on this one you've got the Happy Christmas, of course, because they're designed together. You really can mix and match them. So the Happy Christmas off this sheet with my kissing couple is actually the Happy Christmas I've used with my Christmas tree design. So don't fear, you can interchange the sentiments and bits if you want to. It's one of the nice things about it all coming from one company to a degree. A lot of it's very similar in design and colour, so you can interchange elements if you want to. Moving on, we have our other cat. I told you there was another one coming up. This is our second cat in a bag. This time we've got the hearts going on. Use that second corner I showed you, the one that comes on its own for just $5.99. And in the middle here we have that embossing folder done again. This time I've done it on white card, I've braided over it in red, and then I've used a water brush and some distress inks to just paint in a couple of shades of browns and beiges around the details, just to tone it down a bit and hopefully try and match it in with the colours of the cat in the bag. Moving on, I also want to show you this one. This is the same image from my cat in the bag, because as I said earlier, I'm not using the behinds, the solids, I'm just using the layers. I wanted to show you that you could just decorate this. This is just done with some more gilding polish. That again is the pearl luster one, just to give you a sort of sheen over the top of it. Wouldn't that make a lovely topper to go on a box to match my card if I wanted to? So again, lots to do, nothing to be binned, really can be used in many ways. This one is just a really simple one. I didn't get a chance to turn this one into a card, but this was more aiming if you're going to do these with your grandkids or your children. It's just a really nice way that you can glitter them up, add a few gems to them, and just transform them from the flat images into something a little bit more special, and they'll feel like they've done the world, and give you a really nice effect if you want to make cards with them or decorations this Christmas. Of course, as I do say, I keep going on about the Christmas bits. You're going to get loads in here, loads of different themes and styles. So it's not just for Christmas. You've got 200 sheets for only £10. So that is only 5p a sheet. There literally is so many. I've only got one of each, just to show you the 60 plus designs. But all the packs should be roughly the same. So if you do want these, I would really get in quickly. They are very limited, and I don't want you to miss out. So many times in the last month or so we've sold out of our Sunday showcases by Monday afternoon. I don't want that to happen this time and you miss out, so please get in quick if you do want one. Obviously you can have these posted to you, you can order them on our website and we will send them to you. If you spend over £35 you get free P&P. If it's under £35 then you pay just £2.75. If you'd like to hold them so you can collect them in store, that's not a problem either. Just pop in the comments the store you want to collect from and we'll have them held for you for up to 7 days. This offer isn't time sensitive, it doesn't end at 5 PM next week. Because we've got limited stocks, we're not going to put a time limit on it. When we sell out, we sell out. As I say, we can't get no more, so when they're gone, they're gone. At the moment, you're just looking at a few new cards as well. We do like to tease you with everything that's coming in and that you might not have seen as yet. These are our pearl cards that have arrived this weekend, and we have them now in C6, 6x6 and A5 as well in a few different colours. So these again are available in store and on the website if you haven't seen them. All of our cards from today, there's a whole 20 different projects. All of them will be put on our Pinterest page, so if you do like them and you want to keep hold of them, I don't want you to forget when you come to making these what we did with them, if it will help you. So they'll all be on our Pinterest page, you can go and pin them. If you are a YouTube user, we would love it if you would join our 140 plus subscribers and subscribe to our channel. That would be really lovely of you. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I'll be back next Sunday with another new product. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.